Hi everyone, thanks for watching this video. If you don't know me, my name is Maggie Minhas and I am the coach of the competition cheer team at St. Mary's. I also am a parent of 3 St. Mary's kiddos, so I'm around all the time. I just wanted to check in with you really quickly regarding cheer registration. So in the email, it has all the information you need to know as far as cost, time commitment, everything like that. But what I wanted to check in with you here on is how to figure out which team that your kiddo should be on. So essentially the competition team, if they've been on the competition team before, they can re-register. That's great. They did an awesome job last year. I will say that we're trying to be more strict about attendance this year. So there will be contracts for attendance signed, and on those contracts, it's gonna say that you can only miss 1 or 2 practices and that they have to be excused and cleared ahead of time. So, and obviously if they're sick, it would be cleared that day, but we really want to be reasonable and we want to be flexible, but cheer is a really unique sport in how important it is that everyone is present. You know, when you have basketball, if someone's missing, you just throw somebody else in that position. But with cheer, they don't know the other person's position and they're not physically capable of doing that position. So last year we ended up with one particular stunt group where we had 2 or 3 of the girls missing, several times, and that made it so the remaining girls could never practice their stunt, and therefore they felt really uncomfortable at competition. So you have kids that come every time that end up feeling really insecure about what they're able to do because of the kids that don't come all the time. So if you were on it last year, the only thing to consider is to really be aware of whether or not you're going to make that commitment and be able to be there for all the practices. If you are new to the team and you were on the Spirit Cheer last year, I have spoken to those coaches and gotten kind of a list of who is ready to move up. Being ready to move up is not based on skill or talent or tumbling or anything like that. We can teach anyone that. What it's based on is kind of just a commitment, a maturity, a ability to listen and respond and adjust. And the reason for that is just that cheer can be a really dangerous sport. It is, you literally have these girls 20 feet in the air, and it's really important that we are making sure that their safety comes first. And when we have kids who don't listen as well, who get really easily distracted, who wander off and aren't really focused in that moment, it can lead to injuries. And it's just really important to us that all the kids stay safe. So that's the number one reason why we're trying to make sure that parents really ask themselves where their child belongs. If you're brand new to cheer, try a year on the Spirit team for sure. See if your daughter or son even likes it. If you have been on that Spirit team, but you know that your child is more the type to get easily distracted, who has a hard time listening, who it takes 3 or 4 times for them to kind of focus in and do what they're supposed to be doing, it may be that they need another year on that Spirit team. And that's totally fine. You can also kind of roll the dice and give them that experience by taking them to one of the all-star cheer gyms in Orange County. A lot of them have light teams where you can go and, they'll have a competition, but it won't be so serious. And that can be really good exposure too, to see if they're kind of ready to step up to the next level. You know your kids better than anyone. And I know that the coaches maybe didn't communicate to everyone, oh, your daughter's totally ready to move up, or your daughter isn't, or son. So I just want to make it we're just entrusting you to know whether or not your child is ready for such a serious team. You have to love cheer. And so if you have a child who's in the program who, is fine going or who doesn't want to go, we have a few who definitely don't want to go on the Spirit team last year. And, they kept going because they were committed. And I think that that's wonderful. But if they don't love it, then the competition side can be a little bit exhaustive for them. And I think that it's maybe too much for them because it is so focused. We will be practicing twice a week this year. Our goal is to place well in nationals. Last year was our first year really building a real competition team. And I think that we laid a really good foundation. And now we've kind of learned what we need to do and what we don't need to do to really have these girls experience the success that they deserve from working so hard. So in conclusion on this issue, try to just take a minute and see where you think your child should fall. If you're not sure, feel free to email me and I will refer back to what the coaches on the Spirit team said. But there's absolutely nothing wrong. Even if you have a 3rd or 4th grader who's technically old enough to be on the competition team, there's nothing wrong with giving them an extra year on Spirit. And in fact, on Spirit, they get to be the leaders. So I think that it can be a really good experience for them. And again, this is based way more on behavior and listening skills and the ability to focus than it is on actual skill or talent. So just try to keep that in mind. The other thing is family commitment. If you travel a lot, if you are always wanting to be gone, if you have a hard time with getting to practice on Fridays because you always leave for weekend trips, it may not be a perfect fit either. So if you're the kind of family that can commit to a team, then perfect. But if you know in your heart that it's going to be really challenging to stick with it during those times, then the Spirit team won't, there's no worries if you miss a practice there. So that might be a better fit for you too. In addition to the 2 weekly practices, we will have a 2-day stunt clinic that the girls will do that will likely be the first week of school. And then we'll have the choreographer come and teach them the routine, which will likely be the first weekend after school starts. So we are trying to enable families to travel during the summer as they normally would, but they must be present for both of those things. Those dates are in the email, as well as the dates of all 4 competitions. They must be present at all of them. I'm not sure if this year it does, but last year the St. Mary's New York trip did coincide with one of the competitions. So, that's something to consider too. They have to be at all of them. Their entire stunt group cannot go up if they don't show up and be present. The other thing is cost. So cheer is expensive. If your kiddo is in dance or gymnastics, you're probably used to the money flowing. And it is a much more expensive sport than a lot of them. It really is. For every competition that we enter, the entry fees are around $3,000. So it's definitely an expensive sport, and I know that it's more than others. We'll also have to be paying tuition to the gym because St. Mary's does not have the safety equipment that we need to really have a competition team. So we need a spring floor and we need the big 20 by 20 blue mats, and we don't have those at St. Mary's. So we have to practice at National Gymnastics, and so we have to pay them a tuition fee as well. And all of the fees are outlined in the email, but I just kind of wanted to clarify it's not a big profit moneymaker. It's that it's really expensive. So, we do have the girls have Spirit wear, and they get 2 t-shirts, 2 shorts, bows, their bag, palms. So all of that is included, and all of that is what we purchase for them out of that money. So yeah, that's something to consider as well. We also have to pay our choreographer, and we have to pay for music licensing. There's several other expenses that kind of come into it throughout the year. So just as kind of an explanation as to why it's more expensive than other sports, but it's also really fun, and it's a great experience for them. And it's kind of in line with any of the other, anything. If your child has played club sports or whatever, you know that that's kind of a similar fee structure. So yeah, that is, I think, basically all we need to talk about before you register. You must register right now. So typically we register in the fall, and that's just way too late. We're making it so that we don't get the uniforms on time and we don't have our choreography lined up. And so it gets really stressful. And then by the time we go to our first competition, we're kind of backed into a corner. So you have to register this week. As soon as you register and it's confirmed that you have your coach's recommendation and everything in place, then I will send out an email and get a bunch of information from you with your child's sizes and whatnot. And then additionally, you'll have all the dates already in that email. And then I'll also, as well as instructions on how to measure your daughter for her uniform. The uniform is not included in the program fee. It does have to be purchased separately, and it has some mandatory requirements that you have to purchase, as well as some optional. If you want warm-ups, those are optional. But you're gonna have to measure your child with a measuring tape and write down all the measurements so that you're able to order the uniform. We've done fittings in the past, and we found that they're not really any more helpful than just measuring. So I feel like we're just gonna do that now and have you guys self-measure. There will be families who don't need their uniform anymore, who sell it at a discounted cost. So if you're looking for that, let me know. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to have like a message board set up so that families can communicate with each other and make those purchases. But otherwise, I would say just try to make sure that you're leaving enough space in those measurements so that she can wear it for 2 years and not just one, and maybe even more. And yeah, we'll go from there on that. But that'll all have to get taken care of before the end of the school year. So that's why we're kind of trying to get everything wrapped up here and ready to go. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me at Maggie, Maggie, D as in dog, Q as in queen, @gmail.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And like I said, just, please keep in mind that we just want everybody to be on the team that is going to make them the most happy. We're not trying to build some giant championship team, and we're not judging the girls based on what they know or don't know. We just really need to make sure that there's a maturity level on the team that's going to ensure everyone's safety. So I hope that that judgment comes from a good place, and every kid develops at their own rate. I have 3 kids. They're all very different, and I know how that goes. So I think it's just important to kind of really look and do an honest examination of where you think that your child would best thrive, and then we can kind of work together to figure out where that is. And same with your family too, how your family dynamic works and how committed you can be to a sport right now. So, and I understand that changes with time too. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions at all. I appreciate you watching this video and just kind of getting clarification. Please make sure that you check all of the dates, the stunt clinic, the choreography, the practices, and the 4 competitions. Check those dates in your calendar now before you register. If you do register for the competition team and you're not ready for that, or you haven't been cleared by your coach from last year, we'll reach out and contact you, and they can refund you and put you on the other team. Also, we do have to cap the teams, so once it's full, it's full. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind too. We really are just trying to get everything all sealed up before the end of the year. So I'm really excited. Like I said, I think we built a really great foundation last year, and I think that this year we can do even better. We have all our systems in place now, and it was so fun, and the girls are so great. And I know that this year, I'm excited about the talent that I've heard about that's coming up. And yeah. Oh, 2 other things I wanted to mention really quickly. The 6th grade, you absolutely can continue to be on the team in 6th grade. We just didn't have any 6th graders last year, but they are absolutely allowed, and we still can be in the elementary division. So that's great, because at nationals, most of the teams that win the top prizes win because they have some big girls who can be bases and some tiny girls who can be flyers. So I think that could be a really good combination for us. That we do try to cooperate with the other teams, and especially song. If your child wants to be on the song team as well as cheer, we will absolutely figure that out. So the coach of song, Lauren Sterner, and I have already kind of established that we're gonna have practices at different times, and then there may only be one overlapping competition or maybe none. So we're gonna figure that out to make sure that the girls can do both. We don't want their experiences to be limited if they don't have to be. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help, and go back and read that informational email and just make sure that you are absorbing all of that, and then hop on and register. Thank you. And one more thing that I needed to add, and that is that if you decide to register for competition cheer or song, you're gonna do that right now once you've watched this and seen the email. If you've decided to be on the spirit cheer team, that registration will not be until fall. So there's no need to rush and try to register for that. That's gonna be taken care of in fall like it normally is. The only reason why we are doing competition early is because we need to get the uniforms ordered. Thanks so much.